It was supposed to be just another day on set. But what unfolded left the entire Love and Hip Hop Atlanta cast speechless. Erica walked in holding the papers that could change everything. With cameras rolling and the audience holding its breath, she read the DNA test out loud. The result? Mendeecees is the father. The room went dead silent until Yandy snapped. In a split second, her heartbreak turned into pure rage. Erica barely had a chance to react before Yandy lunged at her, and chaos erupted across the stage. Security scrambled, cast members screamed, and fans online are still trying to piece together what they just witnessed. This wasn't just drama. This was betrayal, humiliation, and revenge colliding in the most explosive way possible. What you're about to hear is the shocking breakdown of the fight that has everybody talking. It started with whispers. The kind of whispers that don't just disappear but grow louder with every passing day. Backstage conversations, side-eye glances, and a tension that wrapped around the entire set like smoke. Everybody knew Mena was up to something. But no one, not Yandy, not Mendeecees, not even the producers, expected the way she would. Drop her bomb. The audience was buzzing, the cast shifting uncomfortably in their seats as Erica walked in holding a plain white envelope. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't dramatic on the outside, but the energy in the room told everyone this. Envelope carried something more explosive than any argument they'd seen before. Yandy's eyes narrowed immediately, reading Erica's body language. Mendeecees looked tense, his shoulders stiff, his eyes darting around the room like he was searching for an escape route. But there was no escaping this moment. Erica stood. In the center of the stage, her heels clicking against the floor, the spotlight catching the determination in her face. She didn't crack a smile, didn't deliver a playful jab the way she usually did. Instead, she looked Yandy dead in the eye, then shifted her gaze to Mendeecees. And in a voice that cut through the noise, she said, "I think it's time we stop pretending. The truth is right here." The audience gasped. The cast froze. Spice leaned forward, whispering under her breath, "Oh my God." Rashida grabbed Carly Red's arm, shaking her head, while Carly muttered, "No, she wouldn't. She really wouldn't." Erica would. She already was. With a slow, deliberate motion, Erica opened the envelope. The crinkle of the paper echoed louder than the audience's chatter. Every eye in the room was locked on her hands as she unfolded the document. Mendeecees shifted uncomfortably in his seat, his lips parting as though he wanted to interrupt, but no words came out. Yandy sat still, her face tightening, her hands curling into fists in her lap. The suspense was unbearable. Erica lifted the paper high enough for the cameras to catch, then lowered her gaze and began to read. DNA test results. She paused, letting the silence grow thick. Probability of paternity, 99.9%. Erica's eyes flicked up, her lips curling into the faintest smirk. Mendeecees is the father. The room erupted. Gasps, screams, shouts, chaos in surround sound. Carly Red screamed, "Oh, hell no!" Rashida covered her mouth, shaking, her head in disbelief. Spice sat back in her chair, eyes wide, whispering, "I knew it. I knew it." The audience roared, some booing, some cheering, some jumping to their feet with phones out, recording the insanity live. It was pandemonium. The cameras panned to Yandy, her face pale, her eyes wide, her jaw trembling. For a moment, she didn't move. For a moment, it seemed like she was frozen in shock, unable to process what had just been said. And then, in an instant, everything changed. Mendeecees tried to speak, his voice cracking as he stammered, "This ain't what it looks like. It's not," but his words were drowned out by the screaming in the room. Yandy's head snapped. Toward him, her eyes filled with betrayal. Then back to Erica, whose smug expression was like gasoline on an open flame. That humiliation, that raw sting of being exposed in front of millions, boiled over inside Yandy. She shot up from her seat. pointing directly at Erica. "You lying be asterisk, 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 asterisk," she screamed, her voice cracking under the weight of rage. "You think you're going to embarrass me like this on national TV? You think this is funny?" The audience lost it. The cast jumped to their feet. Security started moving fast, sensing what was about to happen, but it was already too late. Yandy wasn't waiting for explanations. She wasn't waiting for apologies. She lunged forward, knocking chairs aside as producers shouted for calm. Erica barely flinched, standing her ground with the DNA test still clutched in her hand. Yandy swung her arm, and suddenly security was in between them, shoving bodies apart as chaos exploded across the stage. Rashida screamed, "Yandy, stop!" while Carly yelled, "Oh my God, she's serious. She's really serious." Spice was on her feet, waving her arms. "They need to cut the cameras. This is too much." But the cameras didn't cut. They zoomed in. I caught every second of the madness. Yandy struggling against two security guards, shouting over their shoulders, "You want to ruin my family? You think this makes you powerful?" Erica raising her voice, defiant as ever. "I didn't ruin your family, he did. But put this on me." The paper in her hands shook as she waved it in the air, the proof of betrayal fluttering dangerously close to being ripped apart in the frenzy. Mendeecees sat slumped, his head in his hands, refusing to meet anyone's eyes. The man at the center of the storm suddenly looked like the weakest one in the room. The cast, the audience, even the crew, everyone could see it. The DNA test wasn't just a piece of paper. It was a weapon. And Erica had fired it with deadly precision. Yandy wasn't just fighting Erica. She was fighting humiliation, betrayal, and the shattering of the life she thought she had. Erica wasn't just holding a test result. She was holding power, and she knew it. And Mendeecees. He was the silence in the middle of the storm, a silence louder than any shout. A silence that confirmed everything Erica had just revealed. The scene was chaos, and yet it was the kind of chaos that makes history. The kind of moment fans would replay over and over again, dissecting every look, every word, every scream. And it was only the beginning. Because once that envelope was opened, nothing would ever be the same again. Hashtags, hashtag LHHATL, hashtag Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, hashtag Yandy, hashtag Erica Mena, hashtag Mendeecees, hashtag reality TV drama, hashtag reality TV drama, hashtag VH1 drama, hashtag Atlanta hip hop, hashtag reality show mess, hashtag scandal. Hashtag drama unfolds the moment those words left Erica's mouth. The entire energy shifted. Yandy's chest was heaving, her face burning red, her hands trembling as if her whole world had just collapsed in front of the cameras. The betrayal wasn't just emotionally, was public, and that made it 1,000 times worse. Mendeecees sat there like a man frozen, unable to defend himself, unable to stop what was unfolding. Erica clutched the paper tighter, her voice echoing in the chaos. "You can't hide the truth anymore. The receipts are right here." And just like that, Yandy snapped. She lunged forward so fast that even security wasn't ready. The audience screamed as chairs scraped across the stage. Erica braced herself, her chin lifted high like she wasn't about to back down. But Yandy's fury was unstoppable. She swung her arm, trying to grab Erica by the hair, yelling, "You think you can play with me? You think you can play with my family?" Ka stumbled back, clutching the test in one hand, using the other to shove Yandy away. "Don't touch me," she shouted, her voice just as fierce. "This ain't my fault. Tit's your man. Talk to him, not me." The cast erupted in panic. Rashida leaped up, shouting, "Yandy, don't do this. Don't do it here." Spice grabbed Carly Red, trying to pull her out of the way as security stormed the stage. But Yandy wasn't hearing anyone. The humiliation, the betrayal, the sting of being caught off guard had consumed her completely. She lunged again, slipping past one guard, her hand barely grazing Erica's arm before two more security guards wrapped her up. lifting her off her feet as she kicked and screamed, "Let me go! Let me go! She wants to ruin my life on TV. Let me handle her." Erica, standing her ground, didn't back away. She held the DNA results high above her head like a trophy, her voice cutting through the madness. "This isn't about me and you, Yandy. This is about him lying to you. Blame him, not me." She pointed directly at Mendeecees, who sat with his head lowered, avoiding every gaze. His silence louder than any confession. The audience booed him, some chanting, "Say something, say something," but he didn't move. Carly Red, never one to miss a moment, yelled out, "This is insane. Erica just ended Yandy's whole marriage." Her voice only fueled the chaos. Spice shook her head in disbelief, muttering, "This is too much, even for us." Rashida, frustrated, tried to calm Yandy down, shouting over the guards, "Girl, you gotta chill. Don't let her win like this. Don't let her take you there." But Yandy wasn't listening. Her rage was like wildfire, consuming everything. Around her, the crowd fed off the energy. Some were screaming for Yandy to get at Erica, others cheering Erica for exposing the truth. The producers huddled in the corner, debating whether to cut the cameras or let it play out. But everyone knew this was reality TV gold. Every second of Yandy's meltdown, every word Erica shouted, every glance at Mendeecees' guilty face, it was television history in the making. Security dragged Yandy back, her arms flailing, her voice hoarse from screaming. Erica, still unshaken, smirked and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "This is what happens when you build your whole life on lies." The audience gasped. Again, some even clapping, others booing. Yandy broke free for a split second, lunging again, but was quickly tackled by two guards. Her scream pierced through the room, "I'll end you for this. You don't know who you're messing with." That's when it happened. Mendeecees finally lifted his head. His eyes, filled with shame and defeat, scanned the chaos. For a brief moment, it looked like he might finally say something, finally admit the truth, finally put an end to the madness. The cast leaned in, waiting. The audience hushed. Erica stared at him with fire in her eyes. Yandy, panting in the arms of security, locked her gaze on him like her life depended on his words. And then, in the softest, weakest voice possible, Mendeecees said, "It's complicated." That was it. That was all he gave. The audience booed so loud it shook the stage. Rashida threw her hands up in disbelief, shouting, "Complicated? That's all you got?" Spice rolled her eyes, yelling, "Man, please." Nothing complicated about a 99.9% result. Erica laughed bitterly, holding the paper higher. "See? Even now he can't admit it. That's your man, Yandy. That's who you're defending." Yandy's scream echoed again, this time not just anger, but heartbreak. She sagged in the arms of security, her body trembling, tears spilling down her cheeks. The humiliation was complete. The betrayal was undeniable. And Erica stood tall, her voice steady, her paper proof shining under the stage lights. The DNA test had already destroyed the illusion. But Yandy's public breakdown turned it into the most unforgettable moment in love and hip-hop Atlanta history. The fight wasn't just physical. It was emotional, spiritual, personal. It was the kind of fight that leaves scars long after the cameras stop rolling. And as the guards dragged Yandy backstage, the crowd still buzzing, Erica dropped her final words like daggers. "Don't be mad at me for telling the truth. Be mad at the man who lied to you all along." The stage was left in chaos. Cast members shaken, audience divided, producers scrambling. And Mendeecees sitting in the center of it all, silent, broken, exposed. The war had only just begun, but in that moment, one thing was clear. Yandy wasn't going to forgive. Erica wasn't going to back down. And the show would never be the same again. Hashtags, hashtag LHHATL, hashtag Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Hashtag Yandy YVs, Erica hashtag DNA results drama. Hashtag Mendeecees post. Hashtag VH1 drama. Hashtag reality TV. Hashtag Atlanta scandal. Hashtag love and hip hop mess. Hashtag drama alert. The stage was still buzzing with chaos. But as security finally dragged Yandy backstage, the spotlight shifted. For the first time, the cameras turned fully to the cast. Their reactions weren't just shock, they were raw, unfiltered, and dripping with the kind of drama only love and hip-hop Atlanta can deliver. Spice leaned forward, her long blue wig falling into her face, and shook her head with disbelief. No. Sa. Believe this. Ya, see dis. After everything dem been through, this man still out here fathering babies. Her accent thickened with emotion, her hands waving wildly in the air. The audience roared at her honesty, half agreeing, half screaming back their own opinions. Carly Red, always the queen of stirring the pot, clutched her chest like she was witnessing a funeral. I knew it. I knew something wasn't right with Mendeecees. I tried to warn Yandy, but she never listens to me. She looked around dramatically, searching for validation. And of course, the cameras loved every second. She pointed at Erica. You messy for dropping it like this? But girl, you didn't lie. Erica smirked, holding up the paper again, as if Carly had just crowned her with approval. Rashida, though, wasn't having it. She stood up, pacing across the stage, her heels clicking hard. This ain't it, y'all. This ain't the way. I don't care what the results say. I don't care who's the father. This right here is humiliating. For Yandy, for the kids, for all of us sitting here. We supposed to be grown women handling business, and instead we out here tearing each other down for the world to see. Her voice cracked with frustration, but the crowd booed, wanting more mess, not morals. Rashida turned toward them and shouted, Y'all love the drama, but imagine if this was your marriage. Imagine if this was your family. Spice clapped her hands at Rashida, agreeing halfway, but added her own spice literally. True, but at the same time, Rashida, if ya man lie to you and embarrass you, yesaya. Just sit down, pretty. Ya haffy deal, wit it straight up. The crowd screamed in approval, some chanting Spice's name, others shouting back, preach. Rashida rolled her eyes, muttering, That's why we never get nowhere. Everybody want the fight. Nobody. Want the truth? Meanwhile, Carly Red wasn't letting go of her moment. She leaned into the cameras, her voice dropping into a dramatic whisper. Y'all better believe this ain't over. Yandy backstage right now, losing her mind. And if y'all think she's just gonna walk away quiet, honey, no. This is war. She widened her eyes for extra effect, sending the audience into another frenzy. Across the stage, Sierra finally broke her silence. She had been sitting with her arms crossed, lips pursed, watching the madness unfold. Now she shook her head and said, I don't even know why Erica had to bring this on stage. Like, for real? You couldn't tell Yandy off camera? You couldn't be a woman and handle this in private? Erica's head snapped toward Sierra, her eyes blazing. Oh, don't come at me with that fake grown talk. You know damn well the only way to get the truth out of Mendeecees is to put him on blast. I did this off camera, he'd still be lying. Today, so miss me with that private talk. This is reality, honey, reality TV. The audience screamed, chanting reality, reality. Like it was a wrestling match. Sierra clapped back, nah, this is messy. You trying to hurt Yandy, not help her, and we all see it. Erica smirked, tossing her hair. Say what you white, but the truth don't lie. Boo, 99.9% don't lie. The tension spread across the stage like wildfire. Even the men in the cast started reacting. Scrappy leaned forward, his hand on his chin, shaking his head. Man, this wild. I know Mendeecees, my boy and all, but damn brew, you looking crazy right now. You gotta say something, anything. Don't just sit there like a mannequin while these women tear each other apart. The audience clapped at Scrappy's honesty. All eyes turned to Mendeecees again, but as usual, he sat silent, staring at the floor, his face unreadable. Carly pounced again, pointing at him, her voice rising. See? He ain't saying nothing 'cause he know it's true. If this test was fake, if Erica was lying, he would have jumped up already and shut it down. But now look at him, silent, guilty, embarrassed. She flipped her hair and sat back dramatically, basking in the audience's cheers. Rashida groaned, rubbing her forehead. Y'all ain't helping. This man's silent 'cause he probably don't even know how to explain it. And honestly, what could he even say at this point? The paper don't lie. Spice, never one to hold back, shouted across the stage, Mendeecees Jah need to stop being a coward and talk. Say it with jaw chest. Yah is the father, or Yah not. The audience erupted, clapping, stomping their feet, chanting, talk, talk. But Mendeecees stayed quiet, his lips pressed together, eyes fixed on the floor. That silence was his answer, and everyone in the room knew it. Erica lifted the paper once again, waving it in the air like a flag. If he won't talk, I will. This is the truth, and whether y'all like it or not, it's out now. The lies are dead, the truth is alive, and the world finally knows who he really is. The cast shouted over each other, the audience screamed. The producers waved their arms, desperately trying to control the chaos, but there was no controlling it. This wasn't just a fight. This wasn't just drama. This was the unraveling of an entire relationship in real time, and every single cast member, every single audience member. Caught in the Storm. Karlie summed it up best, leaning toward Spice with wide eyes. Girl, this ain't a storyline. This is history. The cameras zoomed in tight on Mendeecees, and for the first time the entire room seemed to go still. Erica was standing tall, clutching the DNA results like a crown jewel. The cast was buzzing, with comments and side eyes, but the real weight of the moment had shifted onto him. All eyes were locked on Mendeecees, the man who had been silent through the storm. The audience wanted his words, the cast demanded answers, and Yandy, somewhere backstage screaming through tears, was waiting for the truth that only he could give. But he just sat there, silent, his jaw tight, his hands clasped, his eyes refusing to meet the camera. Carly couldn't take it anymore. She leaned forward, her voice sharp, slicing through the tension. You sitting here like you don't know the whole world just found out you a liar? Say something. Look at Erica. Look at us. Look at the damn audience. You think sitting there quiet makes you look innocent? No, baby, it makes you look guilty. As hell. The crowd cheered her on, clapping, whistling, screaming facts. Mendeecees exhaled heavily, rubbing his face with both hands, but still Spice slammed her hand on the armrest of her chair, frustration boiling over. Mendeecees, stop hiding. Stop making these women fight each other over your mess. Chanid Fee, open ya mouth and talk. Did you father this child or not? The audience erupted into chants again. Talk, talk, talk. But Mendeecees just shook his head slowly. He whispered under his breath, y'all don't understand, and the mic barely caught it. Rashida immediately pounced. Oh no, don't. Give us that we don't understand mess. What don't we understand, huh? The paper says 99.9%. That ain't confusion. That's fact. You want to explain? But don't insult us like we stupid. The audience roared in agreement. Rashida folded her arms, glaring at him, waiting for his excuse. Finally, Mendeecees sat up straighter, his voice low but shaky. It's not what y'all think. Things happen. Mistakes happen. It's complicated. The room exploded with boos. Carly threw her hands up, screaming, complicated. Boy, please. Nothing complicated about a baby and a DNA test. Either you did it or you didn't. And guess what this paper says you did? The audience clapped and shouted, period. In unison, Spice rolled her eyes so hard the cameras caught every ounce of her disgust. Man, stop playing games. If jaw mess up, say jaw mess up. But don't sit here and insult Yandy by calling her pain complicated. This woman gave you everything, stood by you through prison, through the dirt, through all of it. And this is how Ja repay her. The crowd screamed and clapped for Spice, chanting her name. Erica smirked, tilting her head, her voice dripping with sarcasm. See? This is why I had to expose him. Y'all hear this, right? He won't even admit it. He'd rather hide, let Yandy look crazy, let me look crazy, than just stand up and tell the truth. That's who he really is. She waved the DNA results. Again, the paper shaking under the weight of her words. Mendeecees shook his head quickly, his voice rising this time. I ain't hiding. I ain't running. But this ain't the place for this. My family don't deserve this circus. My kids don't deserve this being blasted on TV like it's a game. He pointed at Erica, his voice cracking with anger. You didn't do this for truth. You did this to humiliate us. You messy, you selfish, and you don't care about nobody but yourself. Wow. The audience booed him louder than ever. Erica laughed, bitterly, her voice sharp. Humiliate you. No, baby. You humiliated yourself when you couldn't keep it in your pants. You humiliated Yandy when you lied to her face every single day. Don't try to blame me for your mistakes. The crowd went wild, half screaming, "Yes, Erica!" while the other half booed her for stirring the pot. Scrappy finally chimed in, shaking his head. Brr, look, we all make mistakes, but at the end of the day, you can't sit here blaming Erica when you the one who put yourself in this position. That's your DNA on that paper, not hers. You want to be mad? Be mad at yourself, not the messenger. The audience clapped for him, chanting, "Thank you." Mendeecees tried again, his voice softer now, almost pleading. I made mistakes. I ain't perfect. Thon may never wanted it to come out like this. I never wanted to hurt her. The words hung in the air, heavy with guilt, but they weren't enough. The cast looked unimpressed. The audience wasn't buying it, and even the cameras zoomed in on Erica's unimpressed smirk. She folded her arms, rolling her eyes. Love ain't supposed to look like lies. Love ain't supposed to look like another baby behind your wife's back. You call that love? Please. Carly leaned into her mic again, shaking her head dramatically. Chili, I don't even know why Yandy wasting her tears on him. He ain't worth it. He ain't worth the humiliation, the stress, the pain. If it was me, I'd be done. The audience clapped and screamed, period. Again, drowning out the stage. The producers tried to calm the room, but the audience was out of control. The cast was yelling over one another, and Mendeecees sat in the center, sweating, shaking his head, drowning in his own silence. His excuses weren't landing. His words weren't saving him. If anything, they made him look weaker. Yandy's pain, Erica's truth, and the cast's disgust had already buried him. All he could do now was sit there, the man in the hot seat, the man who let down everyone. The man who proved the DNA results didn't just expose him, they destroyed him, and the world was watching. Backstage cameras caught what the main stage missed: the raw, unfiltered rage that boiled over once Yandy was dragged behind the curtains. She wasn't done, not even close. Her makeup was streaked with tears, her hair wild from the struggle with security, but her voice? Her voice was pure fire. Where's she at? Where'd that be asterisk, 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 asterisk at? Don't hold me back. I swear I'm not done with her. The guards tried to calm her, telling her to breathe, but Yandy shoved against them, screaming she'd want to humiliate me on stage. Bring her back here. Let me deal with her off camera. But Erica wasn't hiding. Just as Yandy was thrashing against the guards, Erica stormed backstage, still holding the DNA results like a victory banner. Her heels clicked loudly against the floor, her smirk as sharp as a knife. "Oh, you looking for me?" she shouted. "Here I am. What are you gonna do now, Yandy? Cry some more?" The two women locked eyes, And in that second, it was like the world stopped. Security braced themselves. Producers screamed into their headsets. But nothing could stop what was about to unfold. Yandy lunged forward, breaking free of one guard, pointing straight at Erica. You think you slick. Think? This makes you powerful. You're just a bitter, jealous ****** who can't stand to see me happy. Erica's laugh echoed through the hall, cruel and cutting. Happy girl, please. You've been living in a fantasy this whole time. Your man been lying to you, sneaking behind your back, and you calling that happiness? Wake up, sweetheart Chew. The fool here, not me. Yandy's scream ripped through the backstage area as she charged. And this time she managed to get her hands on Erica. They clashed like two storms colliding, hair pulling. Nails clawing, voices raised so loud the walls shook. Security scrambled to pull them apart, but neither woman was letting go. Erica shouted, "Get off me, you crazy bee ***********. While Yandy screamed back, "You'll never break my family. Never." The cast, hearing the chaos, rushed backstage. Carly. Red was the first to arrive, clutching her chest dramatically. Oh my God. They really fighting for real? Somebody stop them before they kill each other? Rashida followed, her voice sharp with frustration. This is embarrassing, y'all. Both of y'all need to stop before somebody ends up in jail. Spice, however, stood to the side, eyes wide, muttering laud. This worse than I thought. This ain't no show anymore. This real life. The audience could hear the screams from backstage, and they fed off the energy, chanting louder and louder from their seats. Fight, fight, fight. The producers panicked, yelling at the crew to cut the mics. But the cameras kept rolling, capturing every second of the chaos. Security finally managed to rip Erica out of Yandy's grip, dragging her toward the opposite hallway. Erica's wig was slightly shifted, her dress wrinkled from the scuffle, but her mouth was still her sharpest weapon. You weak, Yandy, weak. You mad at me? But your man, the one that betrayed you? Don't put this on me. She shoved against the guard's grip, pointing a manicured finger back at Yandy. You should be fighting him, not me. Yandy, breathing hard, hair disheveled, shouted back, Don't you dare talk about my marriage. You don't know what me and Mendeecees been through. You don't know the sacrifices I made. You just jealous 'cause you'll never have what I have. Erica laughed so loud it echoed down the hall, cruel and bitter. What you have? Girl, what you have is a man that lies, cheats, and fathers babies behind your back. That's what you got. Ain't you standing here defending him? You're pathetic. The words hit like knives, and Yandy tried to break free again, but the guards tightened their hold. Tears streamed down her face, mixing with rage. She screamed, You'll regret this, Erica. You'll regret the day you ever came for me. Cass tried to step in, but it only added more fuel to the fire. Kylie, ever the instigator, shouted, This too far, Erica. You should have told her in private. Erica snapped at her. Don't play fake now, Carly. You live for this mess. Don't act like you don't. Carly gasped dramatically, clutching her pearls. Girl, don't come for me. I didn't. Cheat with nobody's man. Rashida pushed her back, groaning, Carly, not now. Stop making this worse. Spice threw her hands up, pacing. Messiah, take this no more. This gone too far. Dem don't separate, somebody gonna end up in the hospital. But Yandy wasn't calming down. She kicked against the guards, her voice hoarse but strong. Erica, you just mad 'cause nobody loves you like Mendeecees loves me. That's why you came for me. You wanted what I had, but you'll never be me. Erica's face twisted with rage as she screamed back, I don't want to be you. I don't want your fake love, your fake marriage, your fake happy life. You keep defending him like a damn fool, but everybody sees the truth. Now everybody but you. The guards finally dragged them to opposite ends of the hallway. Both women still screaming insults, still thrashing against the hold. The crew scrambled to shut doors, muffle sound, calm the audience, but it was too late. The damage was already done. The fight was captured. The words were immortalized. And the feud between Yandy and Erica was now cemented as one of the most explosive in love and hip-hop Atlanta history. And somewhere in the middle of it all, Mendeecees still sat silent. The man whose lies set the entire world on fire. The chaos may have ended backstage, but the shockwaves were only just beginning. Within minutes of the fight, the internet exploded. Clips leaked online before the producers could even issue a statement. Grainy footage of Yandy lunging at Erica. Erica waving the DNA papers like a flag of victory, and security holding them back as the cast screamed in panic. Our Twitter timelines lit up like wildfire. Instagram went into overdrive. TikTok edits popped up instantly, remixing Yandy's screams with beats, turning Erica's smirk into memes. Hashtags trended worldwide. Hashtag YanDYVs Erica. Hashtag DNA receipts. Hashtag Mendeecees mess. Fans picked sides immediately. Some defended Yandy, calling her a woman scorned who had been ambushed on national television. Others praised Erica for exposing the truth and dragging the lies into the light. The divide was vicious, with thousands of comments flooding under every post. Yandy needs to leave him ASAP, one fan wrote. She embarrassing herself on TV? Another shot back. Nah, Erica, just jealous. She'd been wanting Yandy's spot for years. This wasn't her news to tell. Meanwhile, the cast had their own reactions, and they weren't holding back. Rashida went live on Instagram that night, shaking her head at the madness. I told them both to chill, she said, but you can't tell grown women what to do when they that mad. I just hope they realize how far this went. Spice chimed in with her own post, writing, Me Sion Lie. This was the craziest reunion me ever see. Real-life mashup pan stage. Carly Red, of course, wasted no time posting a cryptic selfie with the caption, Some people just can't handle the truth. Hashtag stay tuned. Fans dragged her instantly, accusing her of stirring the pot just to keep herself relevant, but the most shocking silence came from Mendeecees. No posts, no lives, no comments, just pure silence. His social media went dark as fans flooded his accounts with demands for answers. You owe Yandy an explanation. One commenter wrote. Another said, complicated. That's all you had to say. Man, bye. Memes of his face at the reunion blank. Guilty. Defeated circulated everywhere. The silence only made it worse. Producers, meanwhile, were scrambling. Behind the scenes, they debated whether the fight had crossed